drop. Screen flash. The high score. Boss laugh.
Thumb sore, same fight. Lost track of the time all night. Snacks gone, eyes red. Still shouting one more instead. Distracted gamers, press start. Button mashing from the heart. Round one, game on. We get hit, go harder. Distracted gamers, press start.
It's a podcast. Wait, I was going to start it in a clever and charming way. What was it?
Nailed it.
Oh yeah, Captain's log, stardate 4-4. There's no sign of life. This is a DG podcast. I realized how popular my singing was by the lack of engagement in the last episode.
Oh, I bet it was. Listen, that's not the reason. They just, people get shy. That's all.
We could start doing yesterday again. We were constantly changing the lyrics to yesterday, and I also might be in trouble with the AI music people, which is exciting.
Why would that be, Rhett? What happened?
All I wanted to do was have AI write a historically accurate song about John Lennon, and it got upset with me. And it's like, ooh, copyright. Okay. So I was like, we'll do it about a guy named John who is in a very, very popular band. Still, apparently I'm going to be moderated.
It remembers that you wanted John Lennon, so...
No,
if it can't do that.
It's because I tried to tell it to write a song about a guy named John who beat his wife and abandoned his child.
God damn.
Which super happened, by the
That'll
way.
do it. Yep.
AI is not okay with it. Look, we can't write about emotional stories. You gonna tell me that Pearl Jam song doesn't count? About how his mom used to be abused by some guy? You gonna tell me that? Huh?
No, I don't think they'll allow it. Let's see, give and a take with all, with AI, with any tool. There's a give and a take.
Suddenly Pearl Jam aren't the poets that they always have been?
Well, I think they are. They just, they couldn't have done it with AI.
Well, I'm trying to be the next low-skilled, low-talented, lazy Pearl Jam. And if they don't let me write historically accurate information into a song about John Lennon...
This is bullshit.
It's garbage. Despite the controversy of this podcast, it's a podcast, everybody.
We're here. We made it.
Jason Ross. No Silver, and you might go, oh, where is she? She doesn't talk to me.
That kaiju? I ain't seen her in years.
That's psychopath. Not sharing information, not being a part of things.
No, never. Not with us.
Just sitting aside, no information. Show up late or not at all. Ooh, I have homework. I'm trying to improve my life, loser.
I'm trying to do things to better myself and my future. Huh. Nerd.
She's trying.
Ew.
As you might be able to tell from the title of the podcast, I was having a conversation with Ross earlier today, bantering around, because it seems that I need assistance in trying to figure out what I'm now coining the boss fight, our beginning of the podcast.
Which, we thought up actually really early on. We just mulled around whether or not we wanted to use it.
It didn't come just randomly to me the other day, and I was like, we should just call it the boss fight in the beginning.
That definitely didn't happen. been thinking about it for years, really. Definitely wasn't a recent thing that Rhett thought of, and I was mad I didn't think of ever.
Yeah. Ross was suddenly like, why haven't we thought of that? I don't know. And I was going over sort of what's been going on lately. Big movie come out this week, the Mario movie. Big, exciting. There's a lot of discussion to be had about the Mario movie, which everybody has already done. We're not here to do that. But it sparked an idea of I was reflecting on sort of the movies that were coming out recently. We've got the trailer for Supergirl. We had the trailer recently for Dune. And I was starting to think, look, we have been trying to, and perhaps too repetitively, go over the problems that have been going on in Hollywood, especially in the writing department. And I thought to myself, there's one thing at its core that we really haven't been addressing, and that's character. And it felt to me, talking to Ross earlier today, that character writing seems to have a lot of problems. Now, I'm going to... Here, let's give you some examples. We have the example of Supergirl coming out. Now, despite the trailer being lambasted as this is a bad version of Supergirl, it looks bad, Millie Alcott's comments haven't helped anything, and obviously we're in the realm of we're still trying to throw off the remnants of previous generation of everything has to be representative and political and blah, blah, blah. But I thought to myself, well, there's also an inherent problem with her character. She has some quotes about how being heroic doesn't mean you have to save other people, but in many ways, saving yourself is just as heroic. And I'm like, ugh. No one wants a story about self-discovery when you're a superhero. You know what? You could do that and not have superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could be
a really interesting character piece.
A character piece. Precisely. Now, this extends to superheroes, but we'll talk about other types of characters. What's wrong with us as a character design? Well, it's all about her internal struggle and her internal drama, and it's all about her and the narcissism and whatnot. And I was like, wow, this really kind of reflects the current age of self-absorption. It's all about me. It's about my trauma. It's about what's going on in my own little world and what's important to me. If you've watched the trailer, as I asked everybody to do, you realize, hey, this is basically doing the same dang story that Superman did. Hey, my dog is missing. I got to go save it. Great. Interesting. Wow, we're going through the same stupid thing. And it's like there's a fundamental misunderstanding when it comes to character writing. She's supposed to be a superhero. And superheroes don't become self-absorbed or shouldn't, it's not about their internal journey. It's about sort of external things. Trying to save other people, and it's not about themselves. And the self-sacrifice becomes a part of it. Now, you can write a story where there's an internal struggle, and then they can set that aside to try and do something heroic. But that doesn't mean that it becomes this self-centered, self-absorbed internal journey that for some reason every modern character has to have. Like, I've gotten so sick of the sarcastic, sardonic, self-absorbed, anti-hero nonsense that we've been getting for the last however long with all the characters that are being written now. No one's hopeful. No one's look positive. No one's self-sacrificing. And in many ways, what we're getting is written characters are sort of reflecting society today. We're losing a bit of what we used to value. And what we're valuing now is it's all about me. It's all the narcissism. And we're seeing that reflected in the Supergirl issue. And then as a character, she's a bad hero. Like, you could tell an internal journey character, but it's like, well, then don't make her a superhero. Like, what a waste of a movie. What a waste of time. Yeah. And a waste of powers. Like, the things you can do with that sort of thing, but no, I'm butthurt and I'm really sad. Okay. With great power comes great responsibility. I get like what are we trying to do really here? And I'm looking at the road of broken, poorly designed, poorly structured characters. I don't know if you have thoughts on this so far.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I feel like mine might be jumping the gun a little bit, so I'll hold off.
I agree with you on the fact that it seems that the writers can't get over themselves to write themselves out of a corner. They're so focused on themselves and that I'm the one that's most important, and there's nothing that should come between me and my journey and my truth. And if you have that particular mindset, you're not a superhero. You're not looking out for anybody but yourself. You might as well be a supervillain at that point.
Yeah, well, especially in terms of the Supergirl situation. But look at let's see what's look at Project Hail Mary, the main character. That movie's doing really well, but that character is a lot more hopeful. It's a positive story. He's a likable character. I mean, Andy Weir wrote The Martian, and everybody rooted for his character to be saved on Mars because we all liked him, and it was trying to solve the problem. It was positively looking towards the future, and I think my argument of there's a fundamental issue with character writing doesn't also excuse the fact that the types of characters we getting are so depressing. I think we've moved beyond these self-absorbed, sarcastic, narcissistic. I'm so tired of it. I don't need these characters anymore. And Project Hail Mary is doing really well. And it's like, well, so is this a lesson we should be learning from this? Is just a positive character trying to do good things, trying to solve problems, trying to overcome adversity, giving obstacles and difficulties, and he can have his own internal struggle, but it's less about him and more about everybody else. And the self-sacrifice element gives him an heroic element, even though bad character design doesn't have to always be a heroic element to it. You see my problem we see these contrasting characters of one is doing what he should be doing, and the other one is like, my trauma though. Because I'm sad about my planet, I guess. She's described as a mess. Purposefully.
Yeah. She's supposed to be a messy woman, which is definitely not 4 years out of date, 5 years out of date now.
Well, that character's not even attractive. Like who? I mean, what party girl is even interested in watching Supergirl? Oh, I see her horrific personality reflected in me.
Well, especially because the rest of the movie isn't going to be anything that person would be interested in. Let's just be real.
No. So who she's
rooting
written for?
Yeah, well, the writer, I think.
Yeah, well, James Gunn. Yeah. James Gunn didn't write it, but you're going to tell me this isn't a James Gunn movie, even if he didn't write and direct it?
Well, the fact that it's about the goddamn dog again.
Yes.
Again! I mean, because I told Rhett while I was sitting there watching that trailer, I was like, the dog thing might be interesting if we didn't do that already. The dog's already been a main part of one of these stories. Who cares? I'm so sick of this stupid
Well, not only
mutt.
that. Yeah. Not only that, but the dog was the worst part of the Superman movie, and now basically it's supposed to be the center of this one, and
it reflects James Gunn's dog, so it's not even about the character or the story or the journey. It's about James Gunn.
Yeah.
And
then on top of that, you have as well if this was The dog should be central if this is a kids movie.
Yeah,
But
and
this is
again,
this is a superhero movie supposedly for adults, but it's all about the dog. I'm sorry, that's a kids movie.
well, even if it was a kids movie,
Doesn't have to be
they've
bad.
done that already. Yeah, exactly. Like
No, it doesn't. You're right.
And I'm not the first person to say this, obviously. I mean, I'm sure, well, I know for a fact I'm not because I heard this elsewhere, but I think it's true. If you look at writers from years gone by, the old Hollywood, whatever old Hollywood that may be, there's a few now, it's been around long enough.
Mhm.
Like, writers of yesteryear, like, they were regular people before they became writers, at least to some degree. They at least had a job before they became writers. Often, a lot of them
experienced life.
yeah, they experienced life. They were around normal people. They weren't like these weird, like completely cloistered intellectuals. They were people that had to either work at the very, even if they started young, they had at least had to work their way over to Hollywood, if from the other side of the country, or work their way into one of the studios long enough to be able to be noticed and get that shot, as it were.
And a lot of them like went through wars.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just the ones that if they got it young. I mean, the rest of them, yeah, the rest of them, like you said, fought in wars, were dock workers, maybe wrote for a while, then had to leave because something went down. Maybe they got blacklisted for being a communist. Maybe they it didn't work out, so they had to leave for a while and then came back. So they had to go work a regular job. They were cops. They were soldiers, pilots. They would just go do like random adventure. Like I went and climbed a mountain. Like totally typical things for writers at decades gone by in Hollywood. Can you imagine any of these pencil necks in Hollywood now being that way?
No,
I mean, the closest you get to that is Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah, because he's actually kind of a guy who does farm stuff and rodeos.
I mean, he's also very performative in his own way, but at least it's something that someone can relate to outside of Los Angeles.
Well, imagine the writers today. We're getting somebody who goes through creative writing, maybe movie courses and stuff at like Brown. And that at a very young age gets hired by some places to write, and it's like, what do you know about being alive? Like what do you know about the human experience? About struggling? Yeah. Oh, I went to Starbucks and they didn't have any pumpkin spice available for my latte or some dumb shit. And you're supposed to be able to relate to normal people, or I don't even think they understand who normal people are. I mean, I know this is a cliche to bring up, but they talk about most of the rest of the country, let alone the world, is like the flyover states. You have no way to relate to average people, and you write in this cloister of these are our experiences and this is what they do. No wonder we're getting characters that we are getting. I mean. Reflect beyond, like, look at movies that have been big failures recently. Look at Starfleet Academy. These aren't normal characters. These aren't relatable characters.
Yeah, those aren't even normal characters for a college. I mean, even the modern college experience, they're not normal. The modern one, as and again, not to be political, but like as left-wing captured as a lot of those places are. I mean, seriously, like there's still mostly regular ass people at university, just trying to get whatever degree it is, engineering, their CPA certificate or degree. And so, like, the Starfleet Academy, who the hell's like this? Nobody.
Well, and they're reflecting certain values too, because you look at old Star Trek. It's problem solving, it's overcoming difficulties, it's working together as a team in an organized way. It's leadership. Leadership is something that everybody constantly ignores as a big deal when it comes to organizations like this. And you get to Academy and it's all about my personal journey, my personal problem. Like in Starfleet, in a big organization that's basically a military organization, there's a degree of sacrificing of self. And I'm not just talking physical, but like self personality wise, to be a part of a greater whole. But the heavy emphasis in Academy is all about the individual. It's about you personally. It's about what your journey is. It's about your difficulties. It's about your trauma. It's about your orientation. It's about your identity. It's all of these stupid factors that would not garner a successful organization like Starfleet at all. It would collapse on itself faster than anyone could possibly imagine. Imagine running into the captain in a life or death situation with the Borg and being like, we couldn't get a hold of you. We desperately needed you to do this thing. Where were you? It's, oh, I swallowed my comm badge. How does this function? and at some degree, you have to think through this in a logical way. Someone in the military would look at that and understand this person can't function in this world. They can't be successful. This is not for them. They're going to have to change. But asking somebody to change who they are is almost an affront to somebody. This is this is my core of my being. There's a degree of sacrifice to be a part of an organization like that, to be part of a military. You can't just, it reminds me of that video of like, well, if they institute the draft, drill sergeants are going to have to accept the fact that us women aren't going to put up with this yelling. You're going to talk to me like an adult. And it's like you fundamentally misunderstand what this is, but you can't have writers writing about Starfleet that don't even understand what a military organization is or how would that function in a way. They talk about activism in Starfleet Academy. Activism in what is essentially supposed to be a utopia. Activism what? Right. You've got everything you could possibly want. You're the most degenerate, useless group of people with psychological disorders being allowed to go to Starfleet, and somehow you still feel that things need to be fought for? What are we talking about here? This literally, Star Trek was supposed to be the hopeful future, and they ruined it and made it a terrible place to live. And that's the reason why Academy misunderstands Star Trek, misunderstands how to write good characters, misunderstands even those characters' roles in the world they're supposed to be in. Those are the wrong people that should be going to Starfleet Academy. The wrong people. But there's a fundamental misunderstanding about how you write these characters. I mean, in a superhero movie, the character should be kind of superhero, kind of heroic.
Right.
Maybe look beyond themselves, a bit of self-sacrifice, a bit of overcoming adversity, maybe setting aside their petty problems to help other people. You see what I'm getting at with bad character writing? I mean, look at Star Wars. What exactly were we trying to get with Rey? I mean, a character that has no threats to the character. There's no difficulties. There's no real journey of overcoming issues. It's more just, I'm awesome and I'm gonna win and I inherit everything automatically and I'm the key to everything. I'm the key to the universe. What am I supposed to attach to as a human being? What is this character supposed to be relatable to? No human being can relate to this. Nobody's gone through a journey that easy. I mean, unless you're the child of a super wealthy person, but even then, that tends to lend you to be psychotic because you don't understand to be a normal person because everything's too easy. Write the story of Rey goes off her rocker because everything's been too easy for her. Doesn't know how to handle loss or, I don't know, failure. Something
they could have done, and they just, God forbid, right?
She just goes
as bland
evil.
As possible. Yeah.
Just naturally. But it's like these stories kind of write themselves. It's funny when you hear from really good writers. They start to put pen to paper and they start to see the events unfold. And then the characters kind of unfold naturally the way they would, the way a natural person would unfold in these circumstances. But it's almost like there's an agenda before you get to that angle. And now it's like, well, because one thing I didn't want to do is like, well, Star Wars is bad because there's bad Star Wars and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, but why is Rey bad? And it's not just the Mary Sue aspect. There's a lot of issues with how she's being written. And we're seeing that reflected in a lot of other characters. I mean, Paul Atreides is a deep, complex character in the Dune series. I don't know if I've really gotten that from the movies. I know it's pretty. I know the movies are pretty. But he's very hard to sort of portray accurately. I'm not super angry with it, but it's like... but the movies are working because they've done something well with the character.
So, question about Rey for you.
Sure.
I think one of the reasons that Rey was written the way she was because they can't have a girl go through the hero's journey basically and learn from her mistakes. It's, we've got to show the men who's boss, and that's kind of that seemed to be the angle they were coming from. Now, had they done the hero's journey with Rey, do you see if that would have fixed the problems with Rey, or would some of the problems still be there? Yeah, she's learning from her mistakes and things, and she's going through what would naturally occur when somebody learns a new skill. They're not good at it right away. They have to practice it, and over time they build up their knowledge and their ability to do that skill. And that's what would naturally happen. If that was still applied to Rey, would she still be a bad character?
Well, that fundamentally changes who she is.
Right.
Character. I mean, bad. She'd be better. I mean, there's a degree of like uninteresting personality to come out of Daisy Ridley. Not to be mean to her as an actress, sort of thing. But Rey never came across as super engaging. One thing the character really needed, and it's not just the monomyth cliche with how you write a character arc. It has more to do with she needs obstacles, right, and she needs failure for her character to grow, and she lacked that. She needs somewhere to start, like the wide-eyed character, and then she needs her hand cut off in the second movie, and then she needs to become stronger.
Let's just say.
Yes. We get a comment from Cap Cruz. I'm curious if the characters now are focused on internal development because they don't see a feasible way to solve the world problems, even with superpowers.
That would make sense, except Superman did. Yeah. Or at least he finally accepted that he can, or everyone else accepted that they could. I don't know. Like, I know what you're getting at, and maybe. But the problem is that, like, there are well, I mean, I don't know. Batman's a superhero, right? Even though he doesn't have superpowers. Yeah. You can have internal development and still have them be a hero. You know, Batman does it all the time. Spider-Man does it. But like this weird version of the like Supergirl and Superman make no sense.
Well, to read her next comment, the things the world needs is way less save someone from traffic and the slow building of new systems. Well, see, you're actually reflecting the common attitude of how they write characters. The assumption that they need to restructure the world and express that through these character writing. I mean, superhero is a very easy example of writing sort of heroics or how a character should be written. The reason why you write basic heroics is because they're meant to be examples, inspiring.
Right.
They're meant to be viewed as the type of person you should aspire to be. If we were writing characters to solve global systemic issues, Superman would suck. Because,
what's he going to do? Punch the stock market?
Well, and look, first of all, if you were to write a character that's going to solve world global issues, there's a degree of arrogance that you have the answer to it. And second of all, if you're going to write that character, the character becomes a lot less interesting because really Superman's meant to be to show you the type of person you should be. I'm in danger of skirting too close to religious directions. You help fix the world by being a better person. And characters like Superman show us how being a better person is more valuable than simply trying to, I don't like capitalism, let's fix, you know what I mean? That is an issue that is of bigger complexity than simply, I can stop the villain from doing things. These sorts of basic stories are meant to inspire mythologically children and even adults as examples of the type of people that they should be. It reminds me of, I know this is going to sound like a tangent, when they had that school shooting, if you will, in Colorado, if you recall this event. And they tried to blame it on video games, and they looked in their rooms and stuff, and it was like, well, they had games like Final Fantasy VII and stuff, and it's like, well, that game, if anything, teaches you to be more heroic, than it does to do horrific crimes or harm other people. Yeah, absolutely right. Navigating bureaucracy isn't sexy, but you're also implying that somehow everything needs to reflect us trying to fix the normal world. A good example of superheroes struggling. How do I phrase this? Daredevil was written and has evolved in many different ways. He was originally written as a hero that's empowered by his impairity of being blind. And then as the 80s and 90s came on, it was sort of an expression of trying to fight corruption and that sort of thing. But he doesn't fix corruption in the city, in the bureaucracy, and in the business. He fights it because he fights injustice, whether or not it's a bad diplomat or a bad politician, a bad businessman, or a thug that's trying to steal something. And characters like Superman are supposed to stand as an example of doing good because it's valuable, not because it's convenient. Superman's role shouldn't be to throw out a politician that we don't like. Superman's role should be to show us that simply the values are valuable in and of themselves and that they do good in and of themselves. Am I being...
Yeah, we want Superman to inspire us to be better so that we have people who are also better in power. It's not, Superman going and punching the president of the United States. He goes and punches the bad guy. And we hope that by Superman standing up for these things that are moral, right, and good, that we also learn those values from watching Superman. We try to model our lives after that because we want to be like that person. We want to say, we can't have the superpowers, but at least I can be, heroic in the terms of I'm standing up against corruption and I'm nice to my neighbors and I'm doing what I find is good morally, but at the same time, I don't really think that has trickled down to people who are currently reading comic books.
Well, the thing is, I don't think these values, because keeping it in the character writing event, I don't think these values are things we value anymore. I just don't.
That's very true.
I think people view things far too in the meta. An example, once again, we don't want to get political, essentially, but you have people who hyper care about things like global warming, and their lives are a mess. Right. And not only are they incapable of running their own lives, they wouldn't be trusted in opening and closing a McDonald's. But somehow they think that they can solve the world's problems. Being doing good and being a good person is a lot harder because it asks of you consistent responsibility. Superman doesn't go out and solve global problems.
Right.
He doesn't, at least most iterations of Superman don't intervene in wars usually. Because it's not his job to fix the world's issues. It's his job to be an example.
Right.
Because he's so powerful, he could simply be God of Earth and just rule over us
Right.
with an iron fist.
Mhm.
And there have been iterations where he does that. But that's
Right.
not a moral thing to do. It's funny. People go down the road of talking about ethical issues. It's like, Ross, if I were to give you supreme dictatorial power over Earth, what would you do? Ross is like, I immediately kick out all of the people I don't like, and you start to look down the road of it's not so easy to fix the world's problems, and usually it becomes my grievances are getting solved, or the people I don't like are getting rid. You know what's hard to do? Be good to people and saving people you don't like.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about this a little bit. My daughter and I. For some reason, they got onto the anime Death Note, and I hate that one.
It's good and
but
then it's bad.
one
It's
of the-
good for the first couple of
Yeah.
seasons.
One thing that my daughter was talking about was she was saying, that Light, who gets the Death Note and he starts killing people, he views himself initially as, I'm getting justice for those who've escaped justice. I'm getting justice against those people. And then he kind of, the power goes to his head and he's like, I'm going to be God. And my daughter was like, when you get power, the immediate thing that you should do is keep in mind that with this power, I could do immensely horrible things, and I've got to stop myself from doing that. And that's really not what these people do when they write characters anymore. They don't say, in order to be a hero, I can't go around and just kill the people I don't like. I have to use this power, and I have to use it a lot of times in a self-sacrificial way. That's what made Spider-Man work so well.
Well, and
It's
these are values we don't value anymore. We just don't.
right. Yeah, and we need to. That is a failing of us not passing that down in the generations. There's too much of the. I need to be. I need to inject myself into this. This needs to be me in these pages. And it's like, really?
I'm going to be.
Are you sure that you're that heroic that everybody should follow what you want?
I'm going to be as gentle, not naming names or using specific verbs so everybody gets upset. And I'm going to preface this by being, we're adults having a conversation, calm down. There were perhaps an individual who enjoyed small mustaches and enjoyed playing the game of Yahtzee, existed in a world where he thought he was doing a moral good. Now, he was wrong,
Yeah.
right? By my moral standards and on most people's moral standards. But he was in that position of, he had ultimate power in his sphere of influence and he was going to impose it on other people, and he thought he was doing an inherent good. Simply being strong and imposing things and trying to fix the world isn't in and of itself a good thing. Superman is a good person because he wants to be a good. He literally has to. Putting small mustache man in Superman's shoes, what does the world look like? Well, it's horror, and
Yeah.
a lot of certain people don't exist anymore. But that's why Superman is who he is. It's not his superpowers, it's his values. It's the person he is. And we seem to forget when we write characters, we get too caught up in the things that they can do and not the people that they are. And we act like these obscure outside of ourselves characters are so hard to understand, and anything within the scope of human understanding is understandable, even evil. Superman fails in the Gunn universe because he fails to understand why Superman does what he does. And,
Right.
and you can't, and he struggles to persuade people that good is inherently good, or the values are inherently valuable in and of themselves. Chance says, nah, real heroes wipe out the bad guys. Well, they do, and they should. And you could have different types of heroes like, I mean, there's arguments as to why Punisher's a bad guy, but it's like he doesn't kill good people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, do you not read Punisher, and when he cracks the skull of a PDF file, do you not feel some sort of justice has been invoked? Or are you getting really upset? Obviously, these are interesting directions that character writing can go, where they journey down questions of ethics and the line and how far you should go or shouldn't go. And this is where these are interesting stories we could tell and have been told. And these don't even strictly have to be superheroes. What I'm saying is, we've now created a world where things like identity, sexual proclivities, quirkiness, neurodiversity, race, gender, ethnicity, all these become far more important in their character telling than the actual character personality. Now, I know I've said this before, and this might sound preachy. And I know if you're a member, let's say, of the LGBTQ community, and you're sitting here going, well, you just don't like it. It's like, no, I'm going to tell you right now, as a human being, you're more important than simply the label of being part of the community. You're more valuable as a human being than simply the label. There's more complexity to you than simply that. You could be a good or a bad person, regardless of whether or not there's a LGBTQ whatever community you might actually lean into. And that's the problem with how we write stories is you see, let's say, a black character reflecting, you're like, oh, well, there's a black character. And they're like, well, he didn't act enough. And it's like, well, because you're imposing weird expectations. You know, that black people run the gamut of personality too. And not all of them have to act like they're from Detroit, Michigan, or Atlanta, Georgia.
There was actually,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was something that I have been listening to recently, and the guy that did the video. There's been several. A lot of it is about tribalism and things, but one of the things that was pointed out to me watching some of these videos on YouTube was that these groups, instead of, in the past, you would have just seen a character on the screen, but if you now have that character that checks a box up on the screen now, that character stands for everybody in that subgroup. It's not just there's an individual on the screen that may have certain proclivities, that may have certain character traits, that may have things that I identify with, things I don't identify with. It's now, if that person is, checks one of the LGBTQ, blah, blah, black, Jewish, whatever box you have that you want to check, that is now a stand-in for everybody in that group. And that's a bad way to create characters, because then you just have a one-dimensional character, a character that only has one thing about them, and it's that I belong to this group. They don't have anything else. There's no color. There's nothing. They're one-dimensional. Great if that's what you want, but like I said, that makes for lousy character writing.
Well, here's the thing. We're skirting the conversation we've had a billion times before, and we're going down that road. Let's pull back and actually answer the question that's at hand. When you look at, let's say, action female character, it doesn't matter what it is. Let's say Rey.
Okay.
Why is she bad? Not because, hey, we're doing this because we need a woman that's also now the new Jedi and blah, blah, blah. What makes the character actually bad? Because obviously leaning into identity tells me that
Uh-huh.
you value certain things more than actual character development. But in the end,
Right.
there are flaws to this character that make her not a good character. It's her personality, it's the lack of threats to her, it's the lack of struggle, it's the
Yeah.
uninteresting journey. Somebody used an example with Princess Peach in the new Mario movie where
Huh?
a lot of her problem isn't just she's got the Mary Sue and she's super awesome, but she's got the Mary Sue, she's super awesome, and also she's the key to everything. And it's like, well, you're all of it. You're like, we're just circling your globe of awesomeness is what we're doing now. All characters revolve around who you are and who you're supposed to be. But that character doesn't go anywhere interesting. That character doesn't develop anything interesting. That character doesn't go on any sort of journey of self-discovery or journey of trying to test their morals and their ethics or who they are as a person or what they want out of life, or maybe they go on a revenge journey. This character is just like, I can beat up 40 people and also I'm the key to the universe because I unlock special powers. This is more of a power fantasy than it is anything of a character story. And we used to get good characters that struggled, and maybe characters that weren't good people. They don't always have to be heroic. They can be bad people, but actual characters you wanted to follow and stay. You know, one of the best tricks in the Joker wasn't so much that the Joker was a bad guy, is that they made me empathize with him.
Right.
It wasn't this. I mean, that's what's so interesting about Breaking Bad. It's like you like him until you don't. They go places with his story. Now everything's not easy. He runs into difficulties.
Right.
Character writing seems so much more one-dimensional now. They don't develop these characters. They don't give them struggles or threats, because that would. It's funny how many movies in the recent period of time have you seen, like the person in charge, the mayor, the whatever, is a woman or black for some reason. And I'm not even commenting on, well, why do they have to be black? It's just like, well, because I know what you're doing. You're emphasizing the identity, but it's like this character has nowhere to go. Like it's just, this is the Batman had this problem. She's just a great mayor. She's super good and moral. She's this black lady. She's just amazing. But it's like there's no. She's almost just a blank nothing, because there's nothing for her, because she is nothing. She's just I'm great. Superman is a good and great person, but you can take him places. You can have him. You can give him situations where doing the right thing and doing the easier thing are not the same thing.
Yeah. Very much so.
Maybe doing something for yourself is not also the best, goodest thing to do. Like saving some kids is not as, also hurts you at home. That's why Spider-Man's such an amazing character, because he often has to choose between his own life and being happy and doing good because he needs to help other people, because he has this moral core to him, because there's a justification for what he does. Spider-Man's an inherently sad and depressed character.
Yep.
But that's what makes him interesting. That's what makes him go places. Exactly. Before we get comments, we have a comment from Cap Cruise. For these writers, they have the arrogance and self-importance to think that the world problems can be solved because someone may be inspired to be a better person by their writing. I don't think they're trying to solve the world problems. I think they're just trying to give people examples of being a better person. Let's see. They seem to be trying to show how be a better person by modeling growth, because goodness isn't inherent. They seem to be trying to show how to be a better person by modeling growth.
I don't know about the modeling growth part. It doesn't seem like any of the characters that they have written in recent memory have grown. They've already. It's like I'm already a good person,
Well,
and there's barely any struggle.
is goodness inherent? Is it? I mean, this comes down to a philosophical question, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it
definitely.
is.
No, probably not.
I think we're inherently
Selfish, yeah.
self-absorbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're inherently selfish, and we have to learn. I mean, it's one of the first things you teach a kid, sharing, because a kid wants everything right now. And sometimes you have to tell a kid, no, I'm sorry, you need to share that, or that's not yours, or you can't have that right now. If kids were immediately, wanting to be good and stuff, immediately out of the gate, as soon as they're growing up, they're sharing their toys, they're putting off self gratification, they're all that other stuff. Then yeah, I would say so, but I would say no. That goodness is not inherent. We have to teach it.
The entire example of human history would tell me that the only inherent thing is violence and terror and revenge and
being out for number one.
Being out for yourself and taking what you want when you want to. I don't think there's an inherent good. Not naturally. I mean, if we are just basically animals, then
right.
Then if I just punch you and take your stuff, where is the morality? Where is the question of whether that's good or bad come from? Now we're getting into the philosophical direction. My point is the reason why superheroes don't have to solve world problems is because it's not their problem. Let's go through that logically. Okay. Superman fixes global warming. Whatever. He blows his breath on the ice caps and we get more ice caps and he cools the earth. Okay. Superman fixes it. Does that help mankind? Does that help you as a reader? What?
Right.
Because all that tells you as a reader is, it was easy and Superman could do it. Does that help you understand how to fix the problem, this global problem? If Superman shows up, let's say with the war in Ukraine, if Superman just goes and strangles Putin and physically stops the conflict, does that teach us anything besides let's go strangle Putin?
Right.
No, not so much.
Does that help anything? Is that writer actually... Because at that point, you're like, is the writer telling me that that's actually how we solve the problem is by assassinating world leaders? Is that what the writer's trying to tell me? Or is there more value in simply trying to be a better person and making the world better around you? Because global problems are really a lot more complicated than the because Superman can. There was a story written where Superman essentially became the world dictator and stopped all crime. And it was horrific.
Right.
I mean, we're talking Minority Report here. They could just tell if a crime's going to happen and they can intervene before it happens. Does that give you freedom? Does that make a world a nice place to live? Well, we forced everybody to do good, but based upon my moral framework and to be the person I think they should be. Obviously, I think at its core, when we're talking about character writing has an issue where modern morality is quite poor. And they don't know how to write good characters because they don't know how to be good people. Because I don't think James Gunn understands what it means to be selfless. I don't.
No,
I don't think he gets it. Ross, what do you think?
I don't know. I was thinking about earlier. I mean, much earlier. But you guys were on a roll. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh yeah.
We had a comment about fixing world problems, like superheroes doing that and stuff. And the problem is, that has been done. It was called The Watchmen.
Oh yeah.
Like that story is done, and it's horrifying.
They had to kill millions of people to get their point across. Yeah.
Because the reality is, superheroes are all hammers and
looking for
every problem for nail. Yeah.
Yeah, So, and that's an interesting way to write that story. Now, granted, Alan Moore's a chode, and is an awful communist tree beard, but somehow, despite his moral failings, he's able to write an interesting story, whether or not he wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the fact that the people that we have writing, and we've said this before, but like they're such a cloister, and I don't know if they are able to think beyond themselves, truly. I mean, yes, we know that people in Hollywood like to talk about, the people of whatever, pick, big news item of the week. And they care, they feel for those poor people, but no, they don't. They care about how they're perceived.
Yeah.
And these writers live in that same world. So they can't, there's no way for them to write something that isn't inherently self-centered. Because they've never lived a real life. They've never, and it's getting worse because the industry is contracting right now, and because, despite the fact that technically writers' rooms are bigger, they are bigger and filled with more people who are less experienced, both in the industry and in life. It's complete institutional inbreeding. Almost entirely. So there's just no capability, I don't think. And that's why these characters just both feel really flat and bland, because they've never met anybody that isn't completely flat or bland or frankly not real. I mean, even if you meet these amazing stars or producers, I mean, I've met people like that. Not, movie stars or anything, but I've met people adjacent to that world. They don't feel real. Regular people feel very icked out by them because there's something inherently synthetic to them.
Can I pivot off of what you're saying really quickly and move into the second point?
Absolutely.
I was going to bring up is the great nostalgia trap that we're running into.
Yes.
Because we don't have personal life experiences or know how to write our own stories or develop things that actually relate to anybody or become interesting. What we've turned to, and look at everything that's coming out, video games, movies, everything, is remake or sequel or set in the same universe or continuing on with the same IP, or, I mean, we are in the era of Dune 3 and Star Wars Next and Marvel 38 and Mario 2 from an IP that's quite old in the video game universe. I mean, how often are we actually running into genuine original stories from people who know how to write interesting stories? Oh, Andy Weir with Project Hail Mary. That's because he can write. And he's a human being who's got life experiences and knows how to reflect on his own, ideas and morals and stuff. Look at where we're going with all of the storytelling lately. I don't think they know how to write anything original because they've never done anything.
Yeah.
I would say that not only that, but I think that there's the bigotry of low expectations that we're running into now. It used to be that when you would go to school, you would get an education in the classics. And you would delve deeply into, the Greek tragedies, and you'd go through Shakespeare, and you'd go through all the books and things, and you would have examples of how these authors who are much better than what we've got today would do characterization and plot development and all that other stuff. And it seems to me that those classics are no longer being taught. So we're saying, well, those classics are problematic, and so we can't teach them. There's the N-word in this book. There's bigotry in this book. There's Yahtzees in that book. Whatever the case may be, they're throwing those away and saying we can't teach from those, even though they're awesome and they're great and they're better than anything that this crowd's going to turn out. They're problematic. And then we have this, like I said, bigotry of low expectations, where now it's enough to show up. You know, they're not forcing you to stretch, to go beyond, to actually dig down and put together something that's coherent and follows a logical progression and shows character development and plot points and all this other stuff. They're no longer doing that. They're saying you turn any crap in and you're good.
Well, there's no foundation. There's no basis.
Yeah.
There's because that is the thing that we've heard from in reports from like university professors that students are showing up and have like no. I mean, we hear it about like film schools.
Yeah.
Like we have film school students who don't watch movies.
Yeah.
Like, okay, why are you here? And it does lead to, well, at least I would assume it would lead to a lack of understanding of some of the basic storytelling tropes that have worked for millennia.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a complete lack of any sort of, what's the word? Foundation, I suppose. Any sort of foundation or baseline to work from.
Reading a comment from Capcurus, maybe that's it. Perhaps writers can't write Superman-like characters because to them the act of living in the world is a corrupting force. It can be. I think Superman's values are handed down from the good people around him.
Yeah.
Now you can see Superman. I don't think Superman morally is unobtainable, but let's just say he is. That he's a good person, and to them, you can't be that type of person because sarcastically, well, no one's that good. It's almost like every time you see a religious person portrayed in popular media, they're always like hypocritical in some way because no one can buy that somebody has morals and then just sticks to them. But even then,
Right.
let's say that Superman's unobtainable morally, not just powers, but as just being a good person because he should be and doesn't compromise. Well, then it becomes a paragon, an example of what should be, or the good that should be obtained. And even if you don't reach it, you try to. I mean, he's an allegory, if anything, to Jesus in many ways.
Right.
You want to be a good person, inherently so. There are Christian, I guess, imagery expressed. I mean, he's Moses because he was abandoned in a little capsule and he's picked up and raised by somebody else. And there are a lot of elements to that character. And even let's point at Descartes as a philosopher, even if you're looking at something where it's like, well, how can we know what true good is? Because Descartes viewed that because we can understand evil, we can understand the opposite.
Yeah.
Because we can see things are bad that we don't like, that we understand as evil, that we have the capacity to see the mirror image of it. And so we have the capacity to understand what good should be. Simply by living in an evil world. And that's a good example to writers. But the problem is James Gunn lives in a world where it's like, well, everybody's sarcastic or not genuine or you know, or it's not cool or hip or punk rock to just be a good person. So he has to make an argument that it's punk rock to be good. It's just a weird, like it shouldn't have, you shouldn't have to make that argument. We have another comment. As for the ladies, I feel like the characters are flat because their anger is productive. Productive anger is so rare, it's almost an oxymoron. What do you mean productive? Here's the problem with female characters. They write them as men because they don't understand how to make female characters. And when you write them as men, what they do is they lean into the negative male characteristics, not the positive ones. So it's like to women, in order to be a hero, she has to be hyper violent and aggressive and assert herself into everything. But those are negative male attributes. And it's like they don't understand that you don't have to lean into the negative in order to make someone strong. And on top of that, women don't have to lean into male attributes to be strong. They can be feminine
Or to be a good character, yeah.
without leaning into simply being violent and aggressive, which is the problem with how they write women. Women can be anger, but it's the, what's the statistic? Men are aggressive. Aggressiveness between men and women, it's like 60-40. But when you look at hyper aggressive people, like the most hyper aggressive people are almost entirely men. And it's because of that slight alteration in having higher testosterone levels grants them, which is why there are more men in prison than women. It's because the most aggressive people are going to be the more likely to be sent to prison, and the most aggressive people are going to inherently be men. But that's not to say women can't be aggressive. But I would add up to the anger and aggression to be negative character traits. You don't have to make a woman angry to make her a good character. You can make her heroic, and there have been well-written female characters, but for some reason they try and make them men. And when they make them men, they just go, well, men are shitty, so I'm going to make her shitty. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. Women don't have to be shitty because you think, well, that's how men become awesome characters. It's like, no. I mean, they're just, Ridley came across as flat. She doesn't have to be like a terrible person. Like Luke, wasn't an angry guy. But there was more roundness to his personality than Rey's. There was internal struggle. There's a lot to storytelling beyond that. Anyway, thoughts and reflections on where we're going with this. If we need to pivot back to the nostalgia issue that we're running into, that everything is just recreating everything else.
Well, and
I don't know that. Sorry, go for it.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't necessarily see it as a problem. What I feel is the problem is that they're delving into this nostalgia to draw us back, but they don't know how to do it. So, we have Mario, the Super Mario movie. It does over $1 billion in revenue or sales or whatever it is. And so immediately they go, we've got to continue on with this. Same as they did with the Joker movie. It's like it made a bunch of money, so obviously a sequel gets greenlit. I think what they're doing is some of it is they're going back into that nostalgia to be able to try to hook people and to draw them in, because the stuff that they've been releasing that is original is garbage. And so they're like, well, I will pull in this nostalgia piece. And even though I don't honor that, I don't like it, and I don't actually want to follow what would make this a good, homage or a good sequel or whatever to the original, because I've got my own ideas and I need to inject them into this property. I think that they're hoping that just because it has that label attached to it, it will pull people in.
Ross, you were going to intervene?
Well, the nostalgia thing, I think, is kind of twofold. I wonder if that's more of a higher up than the writers thing, where it's like, well, we got to find a thing that was successful. Well, that was successful. Bring it up. Let's go. And whether or not it works is obviously a lot of it comes down to the writing, as we know, and the writers just like Jason was saying, there's lack of respect, a lack of care, and we've seen old properties brought back and done either remade or whatever really well. We've seen that. Granted, it's been a long time. I mean, the most notable examples are from the fucking 80s, with like The Thing, The Fly, The Blob. are probably like the most noted examples of that being done. And the creators of those had a lot of love and care for the originals. And I just don't think that's had anymore. Maybe part of the reason being is because, people that go to film school don't watch movies. They don't care about the old ones. They just see themselves as creating something newer and better.
Well, and how do you redo? How do you do a new version or redo a previous IP when you didn't understand it, or even
Yeah.
you know, like you don't even understand the
actively
world
told.
that character comes from?
Yeah. Well, I think you don't. I think it just fails at that point.
Right. And so how do you write Superman as James Gunn? Well, I don't really get the traditional value Superman. I don't get he grew up with a farm boy thing, gets sent to the big city, and still tries to be a good person despite the fact that the city's, it's not where this isn't Kansas anymore, sort of thing.
Mm.
But I don't think James Gunn gets that idea. Like, I don't think he understands it. And he said he struggled to understand the character. So he tried to relate to it through the dog. And he's like, well, I like punk rock. Goodness is the new punk rock. And it's like, what are you talking about?
I mean, fine, I guess.
But it's because he doesn't understand being that guy. Like, he can't put himself in Superman's shoes. It reminds me of disconnect from the character. Reminds me of when they would do these polls on the street and ask women. It's like, well, if you have superpowers, what would you do? And a lot of, not to dump on women, but a lot of women were like, well, I would get revenge on my boyfriend, or I would go after people that did me wrong. Or okay, so now understand how rare it is to be given great power and then choose not to be a piece of shit.
Right.
And you might go, well, of course I wouldn't. But it's like, do you? Imagine the temptation of great, great power. Imagine that.
Right.
Imagine infinite power. I've had this speculative discussion with you guys, like off the air sort of thing. Let's say you're Superman. And you're like, well, I'm Superman. I'm super strong. I'm not going to murder anybody. I'm a good person. It's like, well, what about the first time you run into a PDF file? You got to just be like, well, I'm taking this guy to jail. Will you? Do you find yourself above not getting enraged and snapping the person's neck and splatting them against the wall? Like how good are you going to test yourself? What wait until somebody does something to somebody you care about?
Right.
Are you still going to stand on your moral high ground, or are you going to degenerate to, I'm going to do everything the way I want it to because I have the power now? Not that you're smart enough to do the right thing because you know the best thing to do. Not that you're good enough to do the right thing, but because you have the power to impose your will on the rest of the world. Because Superman has that capacity. That's what makes him such an interesting character. But he chooses not to. All of us arrogantly sit here and think, well, if I had Superman's powers, think of the good I would do. But would you? Would it be good to other people? Would other people think you're doing good? Do you really think so?
Yeah.
It's funny. A lot of us look at evil people that have existed in history in the abstract. Well, I would never do something like that. I used to have arguments with kids in high school that, like, these girls I would talk to, we'd talk about like slavery or something in the South. And they'd be like, well, I would stop it. I was like, would you? Well, you would own them. You would live in the South and have some. The arrogance to think that somehow you stand above the rest of us and that you can make better decisions. I know better. If I was there, I would have done things differently. It was like, well, you'd have grown up with different values and different ideas of what the good is, and you probably would have owned slaves. Right. So what makes
if you went to school?
Go ahead, Jason.
If you went to school and every time you went to school, they were telling you how much this other group of people was less than you, that you were better, you were higher than them, would you really have championed their cause? Would you really? Or is it that you're looking at them from our time period, from our moral standpoint, and saying, I'm not as bad as them?
Well, and how easily we stand on our moral high ground and we look around as the paragons of our generation. I guarantee you, reflect on yourself. Are there things that you're doing, or maybe your generation are doing, or maybe your people are doing, that future generations will look back on as abhorrent? That you're confident you're still a good person? That somehow 40, 100 years from now, they're going to look back and be like, I can't believe they let you guys do... What horrible people you were. I'm not like that. I'm better than them. Infinite power gives people the idea that they can do whatever they want to and that somehow they're still going to hold their morality. I question whether or not most people would even have the capacity to. We get a comment, and original works are a bigger risk. IPs have some legwork done.
Yeah.
Name recognition and fans. Well, that's the biggest value when it comes to IPs. You're absolutely right on that. I think a lot of the inherent problem, because original works are a huge risk, but I think the inherent problem too is I don't think they trust the new stories people are making. I don't think they're making anything of value, and then they redo or sequelize already established IPs, and then they're worse, and not because they're not as smart as the people that previously read them or wrote them. It's because they're just not. They don't understand why those stories were good in the first place. They don't understand why Star Trek is attractive. They're trying to rewrite the concept of Star Trek, turn it into something that it wasn't, make it a political commentary and culture and society and identity. That's why Star Trek Academy fails, not just because it's a bad show, because it is a bad show. It's because they don't understand Star Trek Academy. They don't understand why these stories the way that they are. They just, I'm just going to insert myself into these things. James Gunn, I'm going to write Superman. I'm going to insert myself into it. It's like, but you don't understand you've never even sat and thought about what it means to be Superman. To choose not to impose yourself on the rest of the world. How often, like immediately, I would find it really hard to just not start tearing people's heads off. Because they've gone too far in my moral framework. You're touching kids and I don't like it. But suddenly I'm the monster when there's a lot of headless people around the world. You see how these questions become a lot harder to answer. It's, I would do better. I know better. You know what results in that sort of arrogance? Horrific death and destruction on a scale that is unimaginable and has happened multiple times throughout history. I know better. I could fix the world. It's those one guys with the funny hats. I'm Ozymandias in The Watchmen. I can fix the world. I can unite us and fix the Cold War. I just have to kill millions of people in the process by uniting us against something else.
It's fine.
That's really the question Watchmen was bringing up, sarcastically but well written from the Lizard King.
From the snake cultist himself.
Anything left unsaid specifically about how characters just aren't written well anymore, or how nostalgia just seems to be the trap we've all fallen into, and we can't write anything original or new because we don't know we haven't lived lives. Anything left unsaid on this topic? These topics?
I don't believe I have anything left to add.
Sweet.
I think we've
covered it sufficiently.
Well. Yeah.
Sweet. I mean, everybody's talking about Mario, but it's like we could talk about Mario, but then none of us has seen Mario. We will address it in the new stuff. Or The Boys season whatever.
Season 5 million?
Yeah. Or we could just talk about how characters are getting worse.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to disagree. And if you enjoy the topic, feel free to weigh in on your opinions on things. I'm not saying that there's a good or bad way to do things. What I am saying is, I don't think we understand how to write characters really well anymore. And a lot of it is sort of an inherent problem. I think we're reflecting a lot of the issues that exist in culture as a whole. Regardless.
Yeah.
Let's take a Steam pile of news now.
News Dump Online. This is the Distracted Gamers. Connecting you now.
Hey, we're back on the streets. Part of the streets, being in the streets.
With my people.
Let's do this one really quickly. There's a show called Forbidden Fruits that me and Ross don't know anything about.
Literally never heard of it.
But apparently one of the directors told one of the actresses to suck in her gut a little bit for the show. And she took it so poorly and personally that one of the other actresses threatened to cast a curse on the director for telling her to suck in her gut.
Put a hex on him. Hey, don't ask, any man who's been in any Marvel movie in the last 10 years what they've had to do.
Well,
Don't ask them that.
It's the, oh, well, how horrible it is to sexualize women or have expectations that they have to look in a certain way or whatever. And it's like, men are subject to this constantly. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We all have to be mega jacked and Chris Hemsworthy. And if we're not, then, I can't be in a Marvel movie. You could just be a skinny girl and be in a Marvel movie. A guy's got to be super fit to be in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But apparently
ask
also
Brendan Fraser how that happens in Hollywood as well.
casting spells.
Jesus. He's just so childish.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a late comment. Their anger produces results. It gets people to listen or to do something. It's productive. I disagree. I find anger inherently unproductive most of the time. I mean, it creates action in plot, but I don't think it produces anything of value. Productive. If by productive we are saying it moves plot forward, then yes. Getting angry makes things happen. That is true. That does not mean those things are good. Let's shift on. We all watched the Supergirl trailer. It's just the stupid. It's the Superman. She's got to save her stupid dog.
The worst part about the previous movie, and now it's the focus of the new one. It's trash.
It's incredible.
Also, Millie Alcock said some stupid things.
Imagine that.
Really?
Well, the stupid thing is, I had no opinion of her. I never watched Game of Thrones. I had no, I had no preconceived notions. Now I do. But let's see. She was talking to an interviewer who asked the former House of the Dragon star, has the famously fickle Game of Thrones fandom prepared Alcock for the inevitable backlash she'll face? She says, it definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. We have to become very comfortable with having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself.
And look, I am not a Game of Thrones guy, really. I know a little bit about it. I didn't watch House of the Dragon. I didn't realize she was in it, and I've looked into it since knowing about this comment. She played a young version of a character. So it's like...
So she was in it for one episode? And
she was in it for the first season, and, I think in flashbacks in the second.
Uh-huh.
But...
It's my understanding, though I don't know for sure, it's my understanding that she had... there were comments about her physical appearance in Game of Thrones, perhaps. That's why she's saying that people act like they have ownership over your body. But...
Maybe.
Literally, your physical appearance and your ability to act is the only value that you possess in this world of acting.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the reality.
you're going to be judged by what you look like because people stare at you for your job.
Yeah.
That's your job.
How
Like if
dare
you're a
they.
programmer and somebody's like, they act like they own my body because they look at me. And it's like, well, you're a programmer. That's bullshit. You should sue or something. But your job is literally to be stared at. Like I don't know what to tell you, but this is part of being an actor and self-absorbed. Now, there's been a lot of actors who have reflected over the years of being an actor and sort of when you get uber famous, the reflection of how people treat you and how you feel not normal. You can't go out on the street and all these all of that. But that's the trade-off for being famous and everybody loves you and getting lots of money. Like that's literally I get treated weird and I don't have a normal life and people are judgmental, but also I get to be famous and have lots of money. And 99.9% of the time people choose the famous and have lots of money and accept the negative aspects of being an actor. No, I want my cake and eat it too. I want to be super famous and also leave me alone and don't judge me or hold me up to some sort of standard or whatever.
Chaperone.
Yeah.
But this person says her statement seems inarguable. No, it's arguable.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Alcock was 21 years old, playing a teenager in the first HBO fantasy drama. Fans made all sorts of sometimes gross comments about her, as they did about Maisie Williams and Sophie Turner. Yeah, that's wrong. It's gross. But you're just going to have to, that this happens. If anything, Alcock seems rather zen and non-reactive about this. Okay.
So why are we making the comments then? It's not very zen.
Anyway, but the response to Alcock
Sounds like
in many
somebody doesn't know
online...
what Zen is.
The response to Alcock in many online corners has been as if the actress went on a militant feminist rant, slamming all male fans. I didn't get that. It just came across as she was complaining about the problem of being a star. And threw a massive pity party for herself. I didn't also get that either. Sample Alcock signal to everyone that this film is going to be garbage. If anyone had doubt, she has dispelled them. She dispelled them?
No.
I was going to say, I don't think she's dispelled them.
Your movie isn't
It's
even
gonna be
out and
garbage.
you're already a victim of nothing happening to you. Shut the F up. I mean, these are the hyperbolic psychos on in the internet. Like this. Have you seen the internet? This is a part of it.
Sadly.
They know the movie's gonna suck. Well, it's gonna suck, but it has nothing to do with Millie Alcock. And I actually thought she seemed well casted for the role. I just don't like her role. I don't like the character. I had nothing
certainly not.
against her until she came out and were making sort of political comments about ownership of women's bodies and existing as a woman is difficult in this space. I'm like, all right.
They're paying you millions of dollars to goof around in front of a camera. I'm sorry. Suck it up.
Supergirl's gonna suck. It's
That trailer was not
bad.
inspiring confidence, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Like I texted you, the best thing about the trailer was Lobo, and that's it. All the rest of it was awful.
I tire of Jason Momoa.
He vexes me.
He vexes me.
All right. The Backrooms is coming. Hey, everybody. In early 4chan creepypasta world, 8, 9, 10 years ago, a thing called the Backrooms happened where it was just a picture of an office that was yellow. And everybody thought it was creepy. And they extrapolated into being forever creepy. Like offices that go on forever. Spawning the idea of liminal space. And turning into an internet phenomenon, much like Slender Man. And also video games where you get trapped in the back rooms and you're trying to escape. Where we have a
And
trailer.
mods for video games.
Yes, because they're making a movie called Backrooms. Now, as much as things tend to be bad that are a reflection of internet culture and silly memery or whatever, It actually seems kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to have some bona fides. It was on the Blumhouse YouTube channel, and it's A24, so I mean that combination's pretty strong for horror, so it's always a good sign. The imagery's good. I mean, that's the thing. As long as you stick to the aspects of the creepypasta of the game or whatever that works, which is like
why
the
is it
feeling
creepy? Inexhaustible, goes on forever office space that never seems to end.
Yeah, as long as you stick to that, like those things, I mean, it's going to work really well. At least in theory, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't, and especially if you haven't spent a lot of money on it.
I forget the actor, but he seems like a pretty good actor.
Oh God,
I've seen him in other stuff. And
Elijah Four.
Right, quite liked him in other things. So good. Good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I don't see why it shouldn't be good.
But we also have Exit 8, Ross.
Yeah. It's one of those games I kind of forgot existed. It also deals with an internet, I don't want to say creepypasta thing, but like an internet trend of the anomaly hunt.
Right.
Going through the same areas over and over again and trying to keep track of what's different.
It was
That's
a big
the anomaly.
trend with streamers for a while.
Oh, yeah. So, and I kind of remembered this game, but I could totally forgotten it. But yeah, this seems to be a really well done version, like film version of the game. Seems, at least the trailer makes it seem quite stylish.
Yeah.
I looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
A game I wouldn't think would translate to a movie, but it kind of does.
Yeah, it appears like it will. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe it could be really boring. I don't know, but it seems like they've stuck it. We'll see.
And then we have Masters of the Universe. This last trailer seems to have received a lot of negativity.
Really?
Yeah, people didn't like Skeletor. He doesn't sound like Skeletor. And
Well, you gotta have him be serious.
well, yeah, but you know who's playing him.
Oh, well, who do you mean? What, you mean the best cult leader in all of Los Angeles?
Jesus incarnate, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, ugh. I don't know.
Yeah.
The problem with He-Man, here's the problem with He-Man. It's an IP that people have a lot of nostalgia for, and they have a lot of expectation for. And when you're using an IP, there's expectation. So you have to accept the fact there's going to be a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
Based upon the fact that people have, expectations. All right? Also, He-Man is quintessentially thematically masculine.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's one of those IPs where you kind of have to do it right. And I know I think there's still a chance it does well, but the internet seems to have not reacted well to this recent trailer.
Well, I remember there was kind of, I don't want to say drama, but there was concern with that first trailer with the weird pronoun thing. And everyone initially was like, well, it's got to be a joke, right? Like, it's clearly playing it off as a joke. And then it was confirmed later, like, no, that's not a joke. It's like, oh, okay. And then you have the other mark of the beast, which is Jared Leto.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not playing up his voice at all, I mean, that's the thing everyone remembers about him.
Yeah.
I mean, it sticks around in internet memes. Like,
ridiculous Skeletor is almost more popular than He-Man nowadays with the sword.
Yeah. It's just, this trailer, I mean, not that I didn't already know this, but like watching this trailer, I was just sitting there going like, I don't know where the like ridiculousness of He-Man ends and the stupidness of this particular movie picks up.
Yeah, because that's a fine line. I was like, where's Fisto?
Yeah. Well,
Fists people.
Yeah. My God, Red, you're gonna get us demonetized.
No, this is literally his lines. Like, there's a line where he, in one of the comics, where he loses a fight, and he's like, "I fisted him, He-Man. I fisted him as hard as I could."
Oh my God!
This is a line in the. What do you want from me?
Someone was having a laugh.
Ross, if you approach this, innocent, and you pretend like none of the innuendo exists, it's fine. He has a giant fist and he punches people. I don't know what you're talking about. Get your mind out of the gutter.
The problem is I almost guarantee the guy that wrote that comic book super knew the innuendo existed.
Depends on how old it was.
Oh, if it's the 80s, which it has to be the 80s at least, the guy knew. The guy super knew.
Well, it's like in Blast from the Past, where he knows that gay guy that's what's her name's roommate, and he's like, he just thinks I'm really happy.
But yeah, like this trailer made me realize, like, and I knew this because I didn't grow up with He-Man, but it's like, yeah, I'm the wrong generation for He-Man.
Yeah, He-Man was just before my generation too.
Like I don't care about He-Man.
I skipped He-Man, went Ninja Turtles, and never looked back.
Yeah, I was just a little too young for Transformers, so I got Ninja Turtles, and then like X-Men and Beast Wars. Like that was my era.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe was my,
Yeah.
that was me. Go Joe.
Yeah, He-Man was me. He-Man, G.I. Joe. I graduated
Same body
into the
type
Ninja
over and
Turtles
over
because-
again.
Yeah,
Just a different
I
face.
graduated into the Ninja Turtles because He-Man was off the air at that point. So, but Transformers, I remember the original Transformers, all that stuff, and I just don't have any confidence when it comes to these old IPs of them doing any good with them. I just it could be that this is going to be an awesome movie. Some of the
I can hope.
some of the visuals looked really good in the trailer, but the fact that they did a race swap on Man at Arms is concerning. Idris Elba is a great actor. I want nothing but the best for him, but it does beg the question: why did they do the race swap? Did they do it because Idris Elba is a good actor and they wanted him in the movie, or because they wanted a black guy in the movie? And just because of these little red flags that I'm getting, Jared Leto is not one of the greatest green flags that could ever green flag for us. He's definitely one of the red flags. But it's like
all Morbin time
I
anytime.
just have no confidence. None.
He is Morbius in my heart. We got a comment from Cap Cruz. Do you think we could tolerate well-written characters like a complete asshole?
Yes.
Here's the thing. A character sort of as a protagonist, as a center to the story, has to have something that you can relate to in some way, that you can follow with and kind of want to see their character arc or their journey or in some way. Now I'm going to tell you that break certain conventions. You don't necessarily have to have a character arc. Believe it or not. Some characters turn out pretty good in stories and don't really have an arc. But there has to be something that pins you to the character or gives you some sort of journey or gives you something, right? So in theory, you can have a protagonist that's a complete asshole. You could argue Deadpool is an asshole.
Yeah.
Just ain't a great person. Yeah. But then again, there's redeemable qualities. Like you have to give something. Like theoretically, in terms of writing, you can. Yeah, there's nothing that says you can't. There's just an inherent flaw in it where you have to give the audience something to care for. And if you don't care if you hate the character, then it's going to be really hard to get you through that movie. It's possible.
House is a good example. He's an awful person, but that show went on for years because it was an interesting show.
Yeah, but not complete. He's not complete asshole. He has qualities like he helps people, and there's certain
exactly
right. So like I said, you usually have to give you something. You have to House has something that makes you want to keep clicking. I mean, I don't have an example off the top of my head, but in theory, I would say yes. What do you think, Ross?
There's got to be something. There's either got to be a redeeming quality, or they have a change of heart.
Or
at least to some degree.
All the bad things happen to them because of their nature.
I mean, you could write a character trying to save the world that's not a good character.
Oh, sure.
Well, who's saving the world with selfish motivation. But at least you're there with him, and you want to see where he goes, because in the end, there's something to attach to sort of want to see the outcome, want to see what happens, and in the end, want to see if he can pull it off, sort of thing. So, I mean, there are theoretical scenarios where these characters can exist. I'm not going to say they can't. Anyway, let's shift on. Project Hail Mary has done really well, everybody. It's the highest grossing, well, let's see, it's the best performing ever Amazon MGM Studios movie with 300 plus million.
Wow.
Yeah. It's doing really well.
It's good.
It's good.
I'm glad. Thank God they needed something to hit.
Andy Weir went on a podcast and said some things about Star Trek and got in the troubles. Let's see. Topic in the podcast, Will Jordan said how refreshing the box office hit Project Mary has been, especially for audience who grew up on Star Trek and now suffer from a lack of such sci-fi efforts nowadays. Yeah, I saw I forgot who it was. I wish I could remember who it was who said it. Some analyst, he said something like all modern science fiction TV shows and movies have been heavily influenced by the original Star Trek, except for the current batch of Star Trek shows, Weir says. Jordan replied, yes. At first, Weir left that comment open to interpretation, but then added, I'm Gen X, so my sci-fi was the original Star Wars, or Star Trek, reruns and Lost in Space reruns. And there wasn't really much in the way of new sci-fi that was airing. There were where people are off in space doing cool things until we got Star Trek The Next Generation. Later, Jordan brought up the divisive Star Trek Academy, and he says, I think we could probably safely never talk about it again. It's gone. Anyway, he says more spicy things. Okay, you're a little bit more severe than I am. I'll give you my opinion, and I'm just a consumer. I like Strange New Worlds. I don't. I think it's pretty good. I didn't hate Enterprise. I liked Enterprise. I thought it was kind of weird. Lower Decks, I thought was entertaining and fun. Lower Decks, I did not think it was entertaining and fun. At any rate, he says, all the others, they can go. And here's another thing. I pitched a Star Trek show to Paramount. The guy who wrote Project Hail Mary and The Martian pitched a Star Trek show to Paramount, and he said he was in a Zoom with the showrunners, with all the shows, and spent a lot of time talking to the executive producer, Alex Kurtzman. I don't like a lot of the new Trek. He, as a person, is a really nice guy, but at the same time, those shows are shit. He's a nice guy, but they didn't accept my pitch, so, F him. So this blew up a bit, obviously being reported on Hollywood Reporter. To be fair, it was a lot more casual and easygoing. It was a lot more, screw them sort of thing, as opposed to like, no, screw those guys for not taking my pitch of Star Trek. So it was a lot more light than it was negative. Now, people gave him a lot of crap because he seemed to have walked back to some degree, his comments. He didn't really, because he didn't apologize for saying he didn't like Star Trek. He just apologized for being mean to Alex Kurtzman. So he didn't really...
I don't think that he was. He said he was a nice guy.
Yeah, well, that there's the problem of you exist in Hollywood, so you have to play the game so you don't offend
Yeah.
people because you still want to make Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, and frankly, Kurtzman seems the type to get real mad that you didn't like his thing.
Yeah, take it real personal. Ross's favorite story of the day. Judge dismisses the majority of claims in the Blake Lively lawsuit against Justin Baldoni.
I mean, my
Are you
God,
finally
what will
able
she
to
do?
move on with your life, Ross? Now that you know you've had some.
There's a void, Rhett. There's a
closure.
void.
You're not.
You
You're
know,
still not going to be self-absorbed about the Blake Lively lawsuit.
it's going to be hard. You know, I mean, it's just been such a huge part of my life for the last, year. You know, but I'll find a way. You know, I'll find something to occupy the time. You know, until such time that Blake, needs her strongest soldier again. So
Ross will be resummoned to fight by her side once again.
that's right. Yeah, no, God, Jesus. I mean, I would have to imagine her and her team are almost annoyed that this popped up in the news again.
Yeah.
Because it's better for it to just go away.
13 out of the 10 10 out of the 13 claims have been dismissed. She made some general statement to release her team about continuing on the fight. But, whatever. She was getting she was having Taylor Swift consulting on stuff and it's
Yeah, she was pulling out all the stops. I remember this whole thing was just so ridiculous. And the thing is, it damaged her husband's brand quite a bit, too. It was really bad for him as well.
Yep.
The whole thing's a fucking
Because
nightmare.
Taylor Swift is known for her, law acumen.
Super Mario Galaxy movie heads for a gigantic 188.6 million, 371 globally. This is going to be a $1 billion movie.
Jesus, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't it just come out?
Yeah.
Yep.
God damn.
Mario, I don't know what to tell you. So as far as reviews, I haven't seen it, but I'm just going to reflect basically what seems to have come out. Critics have lambasted it. It's 40-something% or whatever. And fans have loved it. And the consensus seems to be the story's not great. It's just all over the place and there's not much of a plot. But it's so full of Easter eggs and fan pandering that if you like Mario, you're just going to have a good time.
Well, I guess that's all it needs to be.
That's all it needs to be.
What else does it need to be, I guess?
Yeah. If I see it, I will give you more complex, someone added stories to my thing.
Yeah, I added that one. It the guy who wrote this apparently, so his name is Jermaine Lucier. Anyway, he basically was saying that he's talking from the critics' point of view and saying that Illumination, as soon as they saw the green dollar signs go up from the previous Mario movie, they greenlit the second one, and they basically just did what they did with the first one. And here's the Super Mario Part 2 movie, And the funniest thing was down in the comments underneath his rant, where people were saying, obviously this guy, well, they checked up on this guy, and apparently he went through film school and stuff, so he knows all, basically he knows from the textbook how to do a film rather than how, from the audience's perspective, how to make them like the movie. And so most of what you get here in the comments is from the audience's perspective, which is, if you like Mario, you'll like this movie. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time at this movie, blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to the critics. And he's accusing Illumination of learning nothing, and I'm like, I don't know if you can accuse them of learning nothing. What they learned was if they do a Super Mario movie and they make it so that the fans like it, they're going to make tons of money.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that that's a pretty good lesson to learn right there.
How dare you give them what they want?
Well, I mean, not to pull a Kevin Nash, but the greatest wrestler is probably the one that earned the most money.
Yeah.
Who won? Was it the movie that lost money, the best picture winner this last Oscars? Or Mario that made $1 billion? I wonder which one won.
Yeah, I think it's maybe Mario.
The Mass Effect TV show will reportedly be rewritten to appeal to non-gamers.
Gosh, no.
Can I just...
Yeah.
Rhett,
Uh-huh.
you know me. I like my sci-fi.
Yeah. Sci-fi is, tends to be forward-looking and hopeful and looking toward adventurous. And
Yeah, and there's like, there's so much you can do with it, but you can also make it very familiar.
Oh, yeah.
And the reality is, Mass Effect is perhaps one of the easiest for a normie to understand.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's not that hard. It's
No.
not, like, it's UN in space.
Yep.
And humans want in.
Yep.
There you go.
Space
there's a
robots are trying
galaxy
to kill us
ending.
all.
Yeah, there you go. There's a galaxy-ending force coming, as it turns out, and then they are using, means that are underhanded. There you go. That's it. And there's some races that like humanity. There's some that don't. It's. And the fact, you want to make it to appeal to not gamers. Well, you're not making a game. You're making a show, right? So you're already making something that can appeal to not gamers. But the story of Mass Effect itself, the setting, it's perfectly fine. There's been sci-fi shows already. Star Trek already fucking exists. Granted, new Star Trek sucks balls. But, just adapt the Mass Effect show. Just adapt the story. Just have there be Special Forces humans doing work for the Space UN. It'll work just fine. I promise you. People will understand it very easily.
Farscape,
Very easily.
Andromeda, Babylon 5,
I just,
Yep.
The Expanse.
Battlestar Galactica. It's politics in space, different races, bang bang, shoot shoot,
We all
world-ending
gotta
threat.
work together to stop the doom.
Yeah, dude, you don't have to change anything. It's fine. Well,
Yeah, we have to adapt it and create a lot more identity politics.
it's already built in. It's called different species.
Yeah,
Don't worry
it's
about
very
it.
diverse.
There's species that live 20 years. There's species that live millennia. There's species who have absolutely atomically annihilated their homelands and were basically like space roaches. They were breeding so quickly, and another species made it so they couldn't have succevsual
The genophage.
offspring. It's just there's so much you can do with this. You even have
You know what they're going to
the-
do? They're going to have Master Chief show up and he's going to take off his helmet.
Oh my god.
Come on, Ross.
You know, Rhett, one of the problems with adapting a Halo show
Uh-huh.
so long after the prime of Halo.
Uh-huh.
What's the thing about Halo that you really can't reference too much nowadays that is inherent in the writing? It's entirely religious references.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, almost entirely. Do you know what the Arbiter's original name was?
What's that?
The Dervish.
Oh.
Which is it's a Muslim Sufi religious order. So trying to do that well after that sort of like writing style and everything. I mean, it was just insane because the oh my god, I mean, Halo's literally about humanity taking up the mantle of the Covenant's gods. Anyway, don't get me started on badly adapted sci-fi from video games. I get really mad. It's just so fucking infuriating because you can't. God forbid you deal with the realities of how it was written to begin with. You know?
No, I'm going to change it, misunderstand the entire point of the series, and then make it bad, and everyone's going to hate it, and we're never going to make any more.
Hey, that sounds like Hollywood's plan for everything.
Good plan. Let's. I bet it works out really well long term.
I think Cap Cruz is slightly behind us, or a lot behind us, and says, I adore X-Men. Jubilee was my girl. I also adore X-Men. Jubilee had a cool outfit and gay sparklers for powers.
not the spooters. Don't make fun of the spooters.
Well, Jubilee, the spooters. Jubilee and Dazzler needed to get together where Dazzler could have her concerts and also spooter her sparklers all over the place as well. The only real answer to the best X-Men is Nightcrawler and Gambit.
No.
And I'm not an edgelord, so I'm not obsessed with Wolverine. But Wolverine's cool. I'm just not obsessed with Wolverine. I am a Gambit and Nightcrawler fan. Suck it, universe.
You know what's funny, Rhett?
Yeah.
Nightcrawler is.
You know how I know you and I are meant to be good friends?
Yeah, because we have the same opinion on everything.
Well, you and I both like the same Ninja Turtle and the same X-Men.
Donatello.
Yep.
Donatello's the right decision. Excuse me.
Always the correct choice. And Gambit and Nightcrawler are always the best X-Men.
They always are the best X-Men. Freaking teleport abilities are amazing. I'm sorry.
Well, I just love a man who looks like Satan that is a deep Catholic belief.
Deep Catholic belief, yes.
I love that.
Do you remember the X-Men episode where Nightcrawler tried to help Wolverine with his spiritualness, and Wolverine ended up in a church praying?
Yeah, I remember that.
Nightcrawler's my spiritual guide, everybody.
It's a good one. I mean, he is cripplingly German, but that's okay.
Yeah, I like the German and the French one.
And that's how I know it's a fantasy, because I like the German and the French guys.
Yeah, that never happens. Rogue, at least in the cartoon, always came across as really annoying, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, not
my mind. Oh, I'm sorry, you killed Captain Marvel, and you trapped her inside your soul. Now you get mega powers. Ugh.
Must be so hard.
Yeah, Kitty Pryde was probably one of the better female. Though attractive, Jean Grey is kind of a psycho. She's like the toxic girlfriend.
Jesus, just is.
Constantly just shattering her mind and going around destroying planets with her phoenix powers.
Yeah, it's ticking time bomb, that one.
Darn right.
You're lucky if your clothes are just out on the front lawn with that one.
Also, I like Beast. I'm just going to say it. I think Beast is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Beast was good, yeah. In the cartoon, awesome. He didn't have enough presence in the cartoon right at the start, but
he gets there.
J.J. Abrams moving Bad Robot and scaling it down. He's moving it out of California to New York, of all places.
Jesus.
New York? That's better.
Apparently, his $250 million Warner deal failed to produce anything.
Hey, whoa, that's not strictly speaking true. There was that terrible Batman cartoon.
That's right. Well, is California so bad for filmmaking? You're moving to New York, of all places? Goodness.
Seriously, there's got to be better places to move than New York if you're leaving California.
Maybe he still wants the panache of being able to put NY, in the company logo or whatever.
I heard NY, you guys. There's no panache in New York anymore. Abandon all hope any that enter New York.
Oh.
And also the basement. I have a pirate flag signaling you to abandon hope when you come downstairs.
My basement, my creepy basement.
My creepy basement. I told my mother, I was like, I'm going to put up a pirate flag. And she's like, no. And I was like, no, it's pretty awesome. She's like, she did not like the idea at first. I put it up. My uncle thought it was really cool. I think my mom's still mixed on it. What do you think, Ross, having gone down into the demon hole that is the basement?
No, it looks good. I like it.
It
sets the tone.
Yeah, it's a good place for it. Like, what are you going to put there? Nothing?
Yeah, just a blank wall. Screw that. Or blank, ceiling thing.
And it's the flag from Pirates of the Caribbean, so it's perfect.
Yeah. It's just like going on the ride when you go down the hill.
Yeah. It also smells like the ride. No, it's not musty down here.
Oh, I wish. If it was that musty, that would be great.
I need to up the must.
Well, doesn't that smell like specifically engineered?
It's artificially pumped in, yes.
Yeah. Let's go steal a can of that.
Well, I used to think that it was a natural part of just the water being in there and it gets older and it creates this nostalgia. No, they artificially create that smell because one of the strongest senses committed to memory is smell. So it creates nostalgia for people that ride it.
I wondered if it happened initially by accident and then they just
kept it going. That's very possible.
Yeah, it's like, well, we got to clean better, but keep it going. Find a way to synthesize this.
Mm-hmm. Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power is reportedly remaining on track. They're going to get their 5 seasons because apparently Bezos wants it.
Oh my god!
So they're gonna keep shoving forward. They're gonna put out this giant piece of shit, no matter what anyone thinks or wants or cares for. This thing is coming, and you can't stop them.
It's just
they're not even gonna
idea.
Shave off a couple of seasons because of how atrocious it's been, or
apparently they're forging forward despite the poor reception of the first 2 seasons.
I mean, eventually, don't you think they're going to run into problems with keeping actors? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Amazon pays too good. But at some point, you got to start thinking, well, I guess there's 2 ways to think. Hey, the industry's in a spiral. I got to get money while I can. Or, hey, the industry's in a spiral. I better not get this stink on me.
Seriously.
You know what everybody was sitting at home saying that they've missed and they want a return of?
What?
Animorphs.
Oh my gosh.
That's right.
Oh.
Animorphs. That weird show? Well, it's coming back. Produced by Ryan Coogler?
Let's go down in flames.
That's right.
It's like 20 years.
Are they all going to be black?
For Animorphs.
That's right. The director of Black Panther and the recent Oscar winner Sinners, Ryan Coogler, is determined to bring back Animorphs.
Yeah, also, isn't that like a... I mean, because I never got into the Animorphs books as a child. Isn't that like about aliens and stuff?
I don't know. I never got into Animorphs. I need the return. I need the live action Danny Phantom where he gets involved in 9/11.
Yeah, that's what I need. God.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I bless them. I hope it works great. I have no hope for the X-Files remake either, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Do we really want to go down this road? So, Jason.
Sure.
Can I ruin the Muppets for you?
Probably not, but go for it.
They had a Christmas special where Kermit went back in time, or it was kind of like It's a Wonderful Life sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, in the scenario, here, let me read something. In the Muppets Xmas special, we see a glimpse of a world where Kermit was never born, in which we see the Twin Towers are still standing strong. But when we see the world where Kermit is born, they no longer exist. So there's a theory that Kermit caused 9/11.
Dear God.
Oh my gosh! What a
And
Oh,
apparently,
Saudi agent.
it was filmed around the time, and they had cut out the Twin Towers in the future scene, but not in the flashback. So you could
forgot to
argue
do it
that
in the
Kermit's
flashback?
existence resulted in the Twin Towers going down.
That's so stupid.
Well, it's canon, Jason. I don't want to tell you. Let's move on and ruin more childhood favorite things. Spaceball 2's officially in production. It looks like we're gonna next year. It looks like that's when we're gonna get it.
No good. Spaceballs 2 by Josh Gad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah. The worst Spaceballs. Speaking of franchises that should end, Avatar 4 and 5 are reportedly full speed ahead, despite the diminishing returns of every new Avatar movie.
Avatar in the Way of the Diminishing Return.
Yeah. Oh, like this article says.
Hey.
Every new Avatar movie does worse than the previous one. To tell you, I never saw the first one in theaters and never saw the two after that. It just, in theaters or not, just refused to see the other two because I hate Avatar.
Yep.
Let the forest burn. Freaking tree
Well,
pervs.
And, you know, the reality is, does it, like, because the first one made so much money, it's like, yeah, as long as it's like a steady decline, we're still making money for a little while, baby. Who cares?
It also comes down to cost versus benefit. Like, if the
Yeah.
movie costs absurd and they still can't get if they're still not profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's shift
Presumably
forward.
they cost less and less.
According to Mike from Red Letter Media and whatever information he has behind the scenes, Starfleet Academy did about 40,000 an episode, which is
My
nothing.
God. Oh,
It is nothing.
Yeah.
If that's true, people were earning more views criticizing episodes of Starfleet Academy than actually seeing episodes of Starfleet Academy.
literally yes. Literally
Yep,
yes.
What
And
was happening?
I please God let it be true. I hope this hack fraud has good sources because I want this to be so true. Dear
The Writers
God.
Guild has reached a tentative 4-year deal with the studios. Looks like
Now, Rhett,
the horror is over. What's that?
have they reached a tentative deal with their employees?
See, that strike is yeah, I would like to know if things have settled between the literally the Writers Guild are so bad that their employees of the Writers Guild are striking against the Writers Guild who are striking.
It's so good. God, I love Hollywood. What a nightmare.
Remember when the Writers Guild striked in the early 2000s and it affected all of these shows and talk shows and whatnot, and it was this big conversation. I didn't notice this writer strike, maybe because they don't do anything
Not
of
at
value
all.
anymore.
Mm. And probably everybody's working anyway, just under the table.
It's possible.
Eh.
Hey, Ross, did you make it to Barbie Con?
Oh, I tried, but I just couldn't swing it this time. I'm really sad about it. I was really hoping to.
Well, we had something called
He's looking forward
BarbieCon,
to
which
the disaster next year.
it seems to be a disaster of epic proportions,
Fire
where it was a
fest
giant
of Barbie themed.
warehouse where they had little places where people could go and get little makeup on for little girls. Ross, look at this warehouse with nothing in it.
Yeah, that's God, talk about the back rooms, huh?
Talk about the back rooms full of BarbieCon.
Jesus, I mean, it's just
Obviously,
like,
obviously somebody over at Mattel thought, you know what we should do? This will be as big as San Diego Comic-Con.
I don't think Mattel is
Ugh.
involved. I think they just did it. Yeah,
Well,
just about
they-
as sad as the Willy Wonka thing, but I've seen big pictures of the giant space, and it's just pathetic.
it really looks great.
Willy Wonka-esque. Like, you can't quite see it. Let me expand this. I know I have the border on to make it look like it's not just floating news space. There. There you go.
Yeah, it looks
Look at that.
cozy.
Look at that. There's nothing in
Wait.
there.
Could play a game of arena football in the gaps.
Ah. Hilarious.
Sad.
Nintendo has lost a patent. Basically, the U.S. rejected a patent that Nintendo had made. Let me read this really quickly. Nintendo's attempt to destroy Power World via the patent courts are not going well at all. Patent number 12,403,397 is inexplicitly granted by the United States Patent and Trademark Office in July of last year. Despite its obvious flaws and ludicrous restrictions, it would be put on all other game development. It allowed Nintendo to take a company to court for infringement if it created a video game that let the player summon other characters for battles. It really was that broad.
Jesus.
Going as far as to prevent anyone else from being allowed to summon sub-characters, whether for direct or indirect control. It made no sense that it was granted at that time, and it looks like the patent office looked back on it and was like, oh, this seems like a bad idea, and have rescinded their patent.
Seriously, who was the one that reviewed that patent and thought, yeah, let's go ahead and okay this? Oh my gosh.
Well, and Final Fantasy better watch their ass, boy. Some of Bahamut
games-
better be careful.
Games created before Pokemon had better watch themselves.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
Yeah, that's crazy broad. I don't know how. I mean, thank God they got caught, but I'm sure Nintendo's seething.
oh, they're so upset. So, and perhaps one of the most important news in recent memory, now that I've screwed up the format for this thing, we'll just have the disembodied floating article in space. The great Kit Kat heist has occurred. A truck traveling from Italy to Poland has had 12 tons of Kit Kats stolen. And Kit Kat has
That's
launched
amazing.
a tracker to help recover the 400,000 stolen candy bars. And hilariously, it ensued across the internet where a huge amount of other companies, besides Kit Kat, started to weigh in on the topic. I don't know why my websites. Let's see. Stop. It keeps freezing on me.
God, I love the internet now, Rhett. It works so good all the time.
Well, I got a friggin' fly down here. I'm going to murder him.
It's the fly's fault.
Friggin' pissing me off. Well, it also sparked a huge amount of like other companies memeing on it, which was also really funny. Let's see. Pizza Hut. We just got back from Italy where we attended a very serious innovation conference regarding stuffed crust pizza. Hot dogs only, relax. Anyway, a lot of companies are weighing in of like, we feel sympathy for what happened to Kit Kat. By the way, look forward to our new Kit Kat flavored food. There was one airline where it was like, our sympathies to Kit Kat and the stolen Kit Kat bars. Also look forward to us replacing peanuts with Kit Kats on our flights or whatever. One was like, look forward to our new Kit Kat flavored shake. And you know what's so weird about this giant Kit Kat heist? I'm so like how do you fence that many Kit Kats? No, everyone's going to notice when you start to try and dump absurd amounts of Kit Kats. Like, where are you going to send these things?
Well, especially as the summer approaches, where are you going to store all this? You know,
who's going to buy those in bulk? I mean,
well, maybe North Korea is the one you got to send that to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there have been memes on the internet of people trying to turn in their mother, or a mother turning in their teenage sons linked to the Kit Kat heist, or a whole series of memes and jokes across the internet, because it's a lot of Kit Kats and it's really funny. Like, what? If I was going to steal something, it wouldn't be 12 tons of Kit Kats. How do you move that product? Honestly.
Some
Very
millionaire
carefully.
was just like, I need lots of Kit Kats now. Go get them for me.
Coked out of his tits.
And the next day he doesn't remember it, but they drive up with 12 tons of Kit Kats.
Here,
We got them for you, boss.
We got him, boss. The hell are
all
these?
right. And now, let's go down the memes. Someone between Italy and Poland just quad Kit Katting, like ham fisting Kit Kats.
Just flexing on these hoes.
Can anyone suggest a recipe to make use of 413,793 Kit Kats? Asking for a friend.
For Fred.
Anybody want anything from the fridge? Oil shortage, no. Kit Kat shortage, yes. Meanwhile, Breaking Bad, but instead of pile of money, it's a pile of Kit Kats. Oh, here's Rainier. Just a plane with Kit Kats in its mouth. Right, Rainier. Sweet. So you've just stolen 12 tons of Kit Kats. You are going to A, sell it on the black market for a massive markup. B, stash it in a bunker for the end of days prep. C, construct a Kit Kat club out of actual Kit Kats. D, not sure. Did not fully think this through. People thought this was a April Fool's. It is not. This happened. Domino's, we would like to share our thoughts and condolences with Kit Kat following their recent sad news. On completely unrelated note, we're pleased to announce we'll now be selling a new Kit Kat pizza.
God.
Instagram people will learn about this Kit Kat heist 2 weeks from now. Police have released the following sketch of the lead suspect. Marge with a coat. To be a fly in the wall of the room where they planned that Kit Kat heist.
It is very silly.
Can't believe the robbery wasn't foiled.
No.
Yeah. Anyone want some cheap Kit Kats? Someone's got a lot of Kit Kats they got to move. You wouldn't steal 12 tons of Kit Kats.
You would steal that, would you?
Someone
I
did.
would. You damn right.
I have a theory. Hear me out. It's on the way past Hungary. Stupid. See, McDonald's France. A picture of their new Kit Kat Flurry.
Got a great deal.
Yeah, just yeah, everybody's weighing in on it constantly, and I love this story. And in a final bit of news, I'm going to express my new love and admiration for the fact that America and Japan have made up since World War II, and we're now besties on the internet.
Yep.
They're
learning about peanuts and Coca-Cola.
Yeah. So, after goofy comments from Donald Drumpfler, basically Japan Twitter and American Twitter have discovered each other, and we've started to talk exhaustingly, and we're learning that Japan really likes American culture, and America's really cool with Japan, to the point where Japanese are talking about how much they like country music and cowboy stuff. And then you had other people talking about how they really want to try American barbecue, resulting into huge amounts of people inviting Japanese over for barbecue.
That's so awesome.
Which have created a strange Twitter love affair between Japan and America, and I'm here for it. I'm super into it.
Definitely.
Japan, I love you back. You guys are cool boys. And it's always fun to share culture and how much we like each other and that sort of thing. We're all so full of negativity lately anyway.
Yeah, you gotta lighten up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, there's a Japanese guy advertising how he's trying to spread honky tonk to Japan, and he has little honky tonk conventions where they dress up and do honky tonk music and stuff, and video of Japanese line dancing, and it's like, dude, cool. People exhaustively discussing King of the Hill, Ross.
As they should.
Did you know, Jason, that King of the Hill is very popular in Japan?
You know.
Yeah. There's apparently long, exhaustive discussions in Japanese circles about how to watch King of the Hill authentically, and that to do it, you have to do it in the original American version, because you don't get you don't get the accent correctly, and you don't get the colloquialism accurately as well. And that this is a debate among Japanese circles that the authentic way to watch the American anime King of the Hill is to watch it in its original language. And apparently they really love funny. King of the Hill in Japan. which is awesome. Love you guys back, Japan. You guys are super cool. As opposed to those French.
Yeah.
They know what they did. Well, it's been a special podcast. We have meandered around the discussion, but sometimes it's more valuable to explore a topic than even come to direct conclusions over things. I find that there is a problem with writing characters. And I was like, let's talk about that. And we did. It's been a great podcast. I'm thankful that everybody's come to join me, but it's time we better do.
Yeah.
End this travesty. Ross and Jason, thanks for coming. Silver, I hate you.
Oh. Hey, thanks for having me.
I'd complain if you weren't here anyway, but it's time to get out of here. Podcast outro, go!
If you like the show, follow Rhett, Jason, Ross, and Silver, the world's most lethally stupid internet personalities, on Twitter at DG Podcast or on Instagram at Distracted Gamers. If you liked or hated what you heard here today, You can email them at thedistractedgamers@gmail.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason would care, since he hasn't any, of course.